Namo Tasse Bhagavate Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tasse Bhagavate Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tasse Bhagavate Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Good evening, everyone, and good morning, everyone. Welcome back to our mental health awareness series. And in today's talk, we'll be looking at another aspect that is really, insightful, especially practical for all our lives. And today is episode 21, How to Be Less Hard on Yourself. This is our topic for today. So, if you have any questions about this topic, that means stop being hard on you or don't be hard on yourself, please type in those questions in the comments below. Okay, so let's take a look at what is being hard in Buddhist context means. Now, in the Buddhist context, being hard is something that we identify with uh, Atta Kilamatthana Yoga, which is a extreme path, one of the extreme paths which the Buddha said to avoid. Now we have two extreme paths that the Buddha asks us to avoid. One is being Atta Kilamatthana Yoga, that means uh, to be extremely hard on us in order to find out the truth in our life. And the other aspect is, the other extreme is, I would say, indulgence, self indulgence, or I would say overindulgence. That means somebody is too much into one's happiness. So these are two aspects of wrong path. I would say extreme paths, and Buddha asks us to avoid these two and then to walk on the middle path. We call it practicing the Noble Eightfold Path. So if you look at Atta Kilamatthana Yoga, which means somebody is very hard on oneself, uh, the cliche here is that I have to work hard, I have to study hard. But today's concept about being hard is replaced by work smart, study smart, do things smart, right? Smart. The word called smart has come to a place to replace this hardness of anything, any work. So nobody wants to be hard. And I know there was a conversation I had with a family recently, and I was asking about the future partner of, you know, uh, those children of the family. And a girl was saying to me that my future partner shouldn't be somebody who is working hard, and I want him to work smart because I want more attention. We want more family time, right? So, working smart, studying smart, doing anything smart is what we want us to be, right? Now, unfortunately, people always think that I have to work smart, I have to work hard, I have to study hard. So how do we differentiate being hard versus being smart, right? So in order for you to be a smart person of anything, I would say, be that regardless of what you do, you need to be a wise person. You have to do your own research and then to see how things work better than you better than you know before, right? So I will talk more about it during the talk, but I will start with a certain complaint that a lot of people make, right? I mean, we're talking about stop being hard on us. We shouldn't be hard on us on anything because then you are putting a lot of stress and depression on you. So we'll take how people, look at it. Oftentimes, what we know is that we always get to a point that we think that we are going to be the worst enemy of us. Now we call that other people might be our enemy or other people might be our enemies. But in the end, what we can see in many is that they blame themselves and then uh, they treat themselves to be the worst enemy and saying that you know I could have done better. Yeah, I mean, you could have done better, why not? But the thing is, probably you may have not picked up the proper way to continue that particular thing, initiate that particular thing, maintain your skills, uh, do that or start begin with a certain thing, right? So we shouldn't be hard on us at any point, right? This word called being serious, I think, is misunderstood in Buddhist context. Now, in Buddhist context, being serious doesn't mean that you have to, I would say, you have to stay up the whole night. You have to sort of practice a lot of excruciating things. Like, we have some practices, like they are not ascetic practices, and we call them dutangas. I mean, some monks can do, but they are not necessarily important, especially for lay people, because we are in the 21st century in the contemporary context of the world. So we should not take a toll, and we should always look at how to do things, even the Buddhist practice, even the mental health, in a smarter, better, calmer, comfortable, easy way. I mean, not looking at the shortcuts. I mean, but looking at wiser, smarter ways to replace this thing called being hard on us. For many folks who think that they need to be hard, they put their own version on this hardness, right? Some might say that, okay, in order for me to pass an examination, I have to stay up the whole night. In my case, I have never stayed up whole night, but I was the person who could score better than the others. I'm not trying to say that you know, something that but I'm trying to suggest, it is not the popular, uh, commonplace that people have to follow. People have to come up with their own ways rather being not hard on staying up late, or I would say not sleeping the whole night. And all these things might make somebody to be very hard on themselves. But sometimes they are not doing the right thing too. They are not doing the necessary thing too. That's why I want you to think about being hard. The conception called being hard has to be changed on being smart on anything, right? So that you are not exhausted, you are not carrying fatigue, you are not so much burnt out. You find different alternatives in most comfortable, easy, smarter, healthy uh, context. So this is our plan today. How not to be hard on us, but rather to be smart on us and then to carry our progress to the next level. So let's take some of the aspects of Buddhist teachings about being hard on us. and how not to be. So now, the first example that I shared with you was one of the extremes, which was actually a fundamental teaching in many suttas, Atta Kilamatanigo. Now, we don't actually suggest anybody to practice Atta Kilamatanigo. I mean, this is practiced by many Jains, many ascetics, right? In order for them to, you know, I would say, finish in their past karmas, they actually take future pains at the moment. Now, one example was Buddha was actually uh, journeying to a city, and he was on his way, and he saw some Jains. They were practicing extreme practices, like they were naked in the hot sun, and they were not taking showers for long, many years, and they were, I would say, having a lot of pains. They were giving their bodies a lot of pains. And then the Buddha knows what's going on, but he wanted to he wanted them to reply to him so that he can find an opportunity to talk about what they could have done instead. And he asked, "What are you guys doing here?" And they said, Buddha, we are we are facing our future karmas at present. That means if somebody thinks that I have a bad karma in 30, 50 years from now, probably next life, I'm going to take them back. I'm going to sort of like, take those bad karmas now and experience them so I can actually end those bad karmas, bad vipakas of the karmas at the moment. And then the Buddha asks another question. He asks, how much of bad karmas have you finished experiencing now? They have no idea about it. And then the Buddha said that, this is not the way to look at it. I mean, we should not torture us. We should not give pain to us. And then he said, if somebody is going to commit suicide, if somebody is going to take their lives, that is a killing. That is not my practice. Because this body, even though this is anatta, anicca dukkha anatta theory, vidarshana theory, but you can't kill it, right? It is against the Buddhist fundamentals. I mean, we could talk about different teachings, different rights, but in Buddhism, Buddha even asks us to respect our body because you acquired, you received this human body because you've done a very good karma in your previous life, right? So don't be hard on that, because being hard on us really uh, gives us a you know uh, bad impression about our future and the present moment, right? And it also says that we are mismanaging ourselves, right? So if we really focus on those folks who wanted to uh, take their lives, we wanted to say that you are making a bad choice, you are making a poor choice, because if you are a Buddhist, you haven't read the fundamental teachings of the Buddha. If you are a non-Buddhist, we ask you to look back, think back, because there are other choices you can make, right? Frustration, sadness, right? They are not like uncommon things to all of us. They are common to us. They are very common to us. Who is not frustrated? Who hasn't been frustrated in this whole universe? Even the animals are frustrated, right? Even the devas are frustrated. Sometimes even the brahmas are frustrated, right? Sad for different things. So then it's not a new thing to all of us. It is the life. Facing them, understanding them, and then doing what we are supposed to do is what we have to focus on, right? So one aspect is never take your life, never commit suicide. That is really being hard on yourself. You should not torture yourself. On the other hand, now uh, if you always try to blame yourself, and this is something that some people encourage, but I think it's not a good idea. If you always think that, I mean, if if you are a person who is not putting blame on others, it's a good thing. But rather you not doing that, but if you try to place blame on you instead of all that, you are still doing something that is not necessary for you. because we have to find solutions, not the blame. Blame is a place for us to study what may have gone wrong, right? Maybe there are things that we may have not learned in fixing that issue. So we have to more focus on solutions than the problems. There are problems, issues, but we have to look at solutions more than we talk about the problem. This is a good idea to everything in this whole world. A lot of people, they keep talking about the problems only. We have to talk about the problems, but not too much. We have to talk about the solution side too much. Not too much, I would say more time, more space, more engagement towards the solution, so that we are going to fix our issues, right? So when it comes to your personal life, if you think you are trying to blame yourself, you are self-blaming you all the time. You are not looking at what happened. Rather, you are putting blame on you at all times. That is not a good thing. If you have done something wrong, please accept the mistake or the failure and then to fix that thing. Blaming you will not make you a better person, right? But in Buddhism, there is an akusala, I would say, Chetasika called Kukkucha. Now, this Kukkucha means worry, remorse, or regret. And this is something that we all need. If we have done a bad thing, bad karma, it is certainly necessary for us to regret about it so that we will not do it again. But the Buddha never asks us to dwell in that remorse. Remorse is a reflection of the bad thing, so that we are not going to do that again. But a lot of people, when they look at what they have done, they're going to dwell in that state for long. That is bad. That is where you are torturing yourself. That is where you are harassing yourself. That is where you are giving a hard time on you, right? So now this is another aspect. When you come to the spiritual practice, let's say you are practicing sila and then samadhi, panya, there is no room for hardness. Let's say if you are practicing five precepts, not killing, not stealing, not misbehaving, not lying, not taking food and beverages to an extent where you can make a sound judgment, you need to practice them calmly and moderately. You should not, you know, practice any of these things too much. Now, we had a discussion a couple days ago with children. In that conversation, I was expecting some rational answers from children about not lying, staying truthful at all times. Now, we found out the practical issues of staying truthful all the time, because we have to sometimes defend. Let's say somebody asking us, am I beautiful? Am I skillful? Nobody wants to say you are not skillful. Nobody wants to say you are ugly. Nobody wants to say you are, you know, stupid. You are silly. Everybody wants to give positive answers, and then that means you are not saying the truth. But that doesn't actually harm anybody. So this is a practical issue. That means we have to exist depending on the time, right? It is not that I have to always tell the truth. So you are ugly and you are bad. You are this and that, and you are creating a very big chaos, right? People will be paranoid after that. Or they might be up for a fight, commotion, argument. That means even when you want to practice the precept, practice them in moderation. That doesn't mean that you can drink alcohol, you can lie. It's not what I'm telling. I'm asking you to look at the real time situations for you to practice your precept, sila. Don't practice sila in a way that you practice something too much, like you are practicing sila too hard. That's not needed, right? That is sila. When you get to the samadhi level, say when you have a level of your sila, you are not taking other beings' lives, you are not stealing other people's stuff, you are not misbehaving, you are not lying, and you are not drinking, eating too much. So you are good, and then you have to You have to move to the next level. You have to take it to the next level. Next level is samadhi. But a lot of people, they don't do that. They end up with the sila. Now, this is where we say they then get into another problematic stage called Silabbata Paramasa. I mean, this is such a very bad type of practice. We say this is kind of a fetter, Sangyojana, right? Now, people can get into this fetter, that fetters are actually binding us to samsara because we can't release us from samsara because you are practicing sila with Atta Kilamatana Yoga, like James. You will never get to the samadhi. So, why do we need sila? We need a sort of calmness with our actions and our speech. That's it. And then we're gonna make the move to the next level. That is samadhi. What is samadhi? Then we are supposed to practice some meditation. Now, this meditation is samatha, right? Samatha meditation is something that we all need to calm us. Don't practice vipassana right away, although you can practice, because you should need some level of calmness. What is calmness? You're gonna suspend 5 hindrances, right? Even on a temporary basis. Kamachanda, sensual desire; Vyapada, I would say ill will; Tinami, the sloth and torpor; mental and laziness of your thoughts, consciousness, and laziness of your mental factors, chaitisicus; and Uddacha Kukucha, it's a hybrid term. Uddacha means restlessness, and Kukucha means worry, and then Vichikicha, doubts. So you are suspending these five. I would say you are suspending them to a certain level. So you are calm now. Then only you need to go to the next level. Do not even end up in samadhi. Never end up in sila or in samadhi. You have to move to the next level. That is panya. Panya means wisdom. When you have this level of samadhi, I would say you have attained the 4 jhanas, Patama, Dutiya, Tati, Chatutta jhanas, where in which you have uh, at least withdrawn yourself from the 5 hindrances. Then only you get to the Vidassana. I would say Vipassana meditation. Vipassana means seeing things as they are, but unfortunately, we all see things as we are. That's the problem. So, when you have Vipassana, then you can see things as they are. Then the wisdom arises in you. Now, how many of us understand even this methodological gradual path? How many of us only practice one thing and end up in there? That is being hard on us. If you end up in Sila, if you end up in Samadhi, they are fine examples for telling that we are very hard on us. We shouldn't be hard. I'm not talking about the secular life where people work hard, people study hard, where people do things very hard. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about spiritual stuff. Even people can be very hard on their spiritual stuff, right? So now the interesting thing here is that never be hard on even on the spiritual practice, right? So that's something to think about. Now I'm talking about how to practice, uh, some of the steps. I'm going to actually discuss with you some of the 12 steps to overcome this hardness that we have. There are 12 things that I'm going to suggest you to overcome this, incorrect, I would say, bad notion of being hard on us. So we need to make the move to that level. So the first step that I suggest you to practice is to learn from your mistakes. Now, this is something where people are very hard on them. They take mistakes to be, I would say, unpunishable. Sorry, the punishable. They are thinking that they are unpunishable. They are thinking all the time that we have to be punished, right, by somebody. I did a bad thing. Even somebody doesn't punish them, they're gonna punish themselves at least, right? That is not necessary. Who is not making mistakes? Tell me. Any thoughts? Can you type in the comments? Look at the Buddha, Bodhisattvas too. Any thoughts, number folks? I'm giving some time for you. Who has not failed in his or her life? Even the Bodhisattvas fail in their life. Even the Bodhisattva in his last life, Shakyamuni Buddha, failed for 6 years. If he knew the path, he would have gone in that path. But he spent 6 years of his precious time by practicing these hard things, rigorous, hard stuff, right? With the five ascetics. These five ascetics told him, you can't attain Nibbana, you can't liberate yourself if you're not practicing these rigorous practices. Don't eat, don't consume anything, just meditate. And then he practiced for 6 years. He believed in that. He trusted it, but it didn't make any sense to him at the end. He knew by himself being very hard on this practice, that means Attakila Yoga, will never get him to the Nibbana, never get him to the enlightenment. So then, Shakyamuni Buddha. So why don't we learn from him? If you are somebody who is only looking for his teachings, you will never understand how things went. We need examples. We need beautiful, very influential examples. The finest example for failures is Shakyamuni Siddhartha ascetics 6 years of time, and he spent the 6 years without any purpose. He was thinking that ascetic practices will take him to Nibbana. It didn't happen. So then, how about us? We are not excluded from this. We are not, I would say, uh, different than a bodhisattva. We all are humans, right? So the first step that I want you to ask is that treat your mistakes as teaching moments. Don't hate anybody. If you failed, if you screwed up, if you blundered, it doesn't matter. It's okay. I mean, the society might say things, people might say things, but don't worry about that. It is you who want to take yourself to the next level. If you know something, if you trust in that, if you're really learning from those moments, you're fine. That's the first step that I ask you not to, you could do in not being hard on you. So, mistakes, failures, blunders, they are real teaching moments to all of us. So, we should never take them as something that we will never be successful with that. They are very successful triggers that we may have. And also, in case we fail at different times, we have to believe in another concept called resilience. We have to bounce back. Let's say you fail an exam, you, I would say, were laid off, and you had a breakup. You broke up with your girlfriend, boyfriend, you had a bad marriage, you, all that. They all are teaching moments. Never hate anyone, right? Try to be resilient, bounce back from that. There are a number of teachings for you to understand, study. So your mistakes, they are part of your learning. I would call them teaching moments. So you don't need to be hard on you. You made this bad choice. You made a poor choice. You shouldn't be so. That's number one. Number two is about comparing. Now we always get to compare. We have some moments to compare. We have some uh, events, opportunities to compare, especially to succeed us. But a lot of people they compare at all times in a way that they never know how things happen after that. So in Buddhism, what we have to understand is we have to accept us. We have to be us, accept us, be us, and then to look at how things go and never ever compare you with other people. You never know what they are doing actually, right? It's like you are following a vehicle on the road and you never know what the driver is gonna do, gonna actually turn the car or vehicle to the right or left side. You never know what's gonna happen. You are not following them. You're trying to go on your own life. You have to be yourself. At the same time, you don't compare. You have your own life. You have your study life, work life, uh, marriage life, spiritual life. Just because you see some people are very much serious about any practice, you don't need to be serious. Because if it is not what you really want, why you want to be? Just because other people doing, you shouldn't be, right? Now, something to think about at this point is the meditation. There are people who are really hard on the meditation. We shouldn't be hard on meditation. We have to be smart in meditation, because meditation is not like that. The more you put in a lot of effort to your body, the better you are. Meditation is that you are trying to be smart on the defilements. Then only you are going to be calm. It's not that you are trying to be so much hard on your body, practice meditation, breath meditation. No, it won't happen, because uh, the more you give pain to your body, the less calmer you are actually. You are not reaching your goals. You have to be very smart. You have to look at yourself. You have to see what's happening within you and outside, beyond. That is meditation, not like just trying to keep up with something that is in your own mind. Hey, this is the best way to do the meditation. And you are just allowing yourself to, you know, be compatible with your own calmness. That is meditation, right? So the second step that I suggest you not to be, which will help you not to be hard on yourself, is never ever compare you to other people. You can compare to other people for happy things, successful things, not to become jealous about them. Let's say there is someone who is very happy. Oh, let's learn how to be happy from that person, right? There is someone who is very calm. Let's learn out of that person's life what we can learn. A lot of people, they compare to other people for material stuff. That is when they get so much stressed out. Number two. Number three is there is no right way to do anything. Now, we always think there's a right way. So I have to study before this age. I have to marry before this age. I have to find the best work before this age. There's no such thing. But we understand there are changes happening in our life. So it's better to finish things in time. But in case you can't make them happen, don't worry. Life is precious. We'll make them happen. Maybe these things happen for a reason. Everything happens to you happens for a reason, right? We never believe that. We had to believe in that. And then at the same time, we can actually keep our journey uh, going, flourishing, right? So, what I'm telling you is that don't label yourself a certain way to do something, right? You have different ways of studying. Let's say you study Dhamma, like you are studying Dhamma at this point. Do you think everybody studies Dhamma at a certain pace? No, different people st- uh, study Dhamma at their own speed, at their own pace. We have to believe in that. If I am the teacher, I have to understand. Not all of you understands at the same pace, right? If you are a parent, you should not think that your whole family, I would your children, everybody in your family, understands what you say at the same pace, right? Everyone is different. We have to believe in that concept, this diversity. Although they are different, but they may have the same efficiency, effectiveness. So there's no, argument about it. There's no doubt. So we have to believe that there's no one way to do right things. Now, for example, do you think people do bad things in one way? How many people do bad things in different ways? Only when people do bad things in a certain way, people blame that person. But the same bad thing is being done by other people in different ways. Let's take the good side. If you think that a certain good thing has to be done in this way only, is a misunderstanding. Because different people practice different things differently, right? If you think that your way is the best way, everybody else should do the same way, follow the same way, that is not what you are supposed to do. So, the third suggestion for you not to be hard on yourself is that never ever think that there is only one way to do good things, wholesome things. There are many ways to do good things. So, believe in that. The fourth suggestion that I wanted to share with you is that be yourself. That means stand up for what you believe, even if it is unpopular. Now, when you grow, you always think that I have to be someone. In Buddhism, Buddha always believes that everybody is different, and this is related to the previous one. Even if you take Abhidhamma, there is a book called Puggala Panyati, designations of people characteristics, peoples. So we believe in different people. Different people make this whole world differently beautiful, right? We want now, if you see the same beauty in all these beautiful places, we will never be fascinated by the beauty. Because beauty is different, we get to see those different beauties, right? It is the same thing that applies to human beings, animals, beings, everything, even the Dhamma, right? I mean, Dhamma is bringing us, Dhamma has the essence, but we learn from different teachers. That's a good thing, right? Then you get to understand things differently, right? Having the essence. So, what I suggest here is that stand up for what you believe. That means be yourself, right? You have to, but do not misuse this idea though, right? You have to believe in you and look at, even when you practice, when you learn Dhamma, try to rationalize. Okay, this, you know, Bhante Chandima is talking here. Huh? Is it rational? Is it rational? Does it make sense to all of us? Just rational. It's just because I'm talking to you, never ever believe. Trust what I'm saying to you. Feel free to agree or disagree and question. That's the most important thing in Dhamma, right? Because a lot of people they do not rationalize what they learn, so that they only believe what somebody says. But if you rationalize, and then you will feel that that makes sense, right? Even in practice, not just rationalize. You then bring it to the practice. Be yourself, and then rationalize. Uh, stand on your feet to express yourself, so that you are not hard on you because you understand you better than other people. Now, there is a very important way of kind of a thought that we need to practice. Get to know you. Now, have you ever thought this idea? Get to know you. Do I get to know me? Do you get to know you? That means within you, there is an inner critic. You have to be friendly with that guy within you. Then you understand when you're angry, hey, talk to that guy, inner critic. When you are happy, talk to that guy, talk to that inner person. Then you can have a very holistic friendship with that person, right? The fifth one is learn from people who criticize you. We all get criticized. I think it's a good thing. For me, I'm not criticized that much. I don't know. I mean, we can get criticized, but the thing is, criticism is a very important factor to grow because we have to grow in wisdom and compassion. Now, how often was the Buddha criticized by people? People criticize him for doing some bad things, wrong, based on wrong information, right? But he was not unhappy. He was happily looking at those criticism, those sometimes it was constructive criticism. I don't like somebody just criticize, just actually for nothing out of blue. So we have to have the constructive criticism over anything about other people. But just because somebody criticizes you, never get disheartened. You just treat those criticism elements to be wonderful, growing, learning steps to the next level. To many people, when somebody criticizes them, they get very upset, they get very sad, frustrated. Why did this happen? I haven't been mean to this guy. But why this happened? I don't understand. This happens to everybody around you. The most important thing is to learn from this criticism, right? Sometimes you may need to distance from somebody. Sometimes you may need to change your perspective to go on a different path. Sometimes you may need to grow, probably change your way of looking at it, attitudes. All these things happen, arise from, can be arisen from criticism. The most important thing is never let criticism get you down. Rather, you think that way, try to transform criticism into a path where you succeed. That's the most important thing. Sixth suggestion is accept your weaknesses as your features. I mean, this is what I said earlier as well. We all have failures, weaknesses. We're going to accept them. We need to accept them, but we are not trying to torture us because torturing is such bad because we will never, uh, then get strong because we always need to get stronger, keep our energies. We should not ever run out of our energies so that, uh, you know, enemies, I would say, these mental enemies, they are following us to take us over. So accept your weaknesses as your features rather than blaming yourself. You have this and that. You have done this and that. The seventh suggestion for you is that look at your past as an adventurous story, like a biography. When a lot of people look back, they always come up with a negative picture of them. Okay, you know, I was so bad, I did this thing. No, I mean, take it as an adventurous uh, biography, I would say, a story. Your storyline is the most important thing to you. Maybe you made the poor choice. Maybe you did the wrong thing. But now, if you look at where you are now, right, it's a reflection of those weaknesses, those failures, right? So we always have to look at our storyline to be our teacher, not to be the curse, not to be the uh, you know uh, negativity that we should carry forward. Because everybody has their own storyline, right? So we have to see it as a uh, succeeding factor behind our success today. Because once you figure out that this happened, you're gonna change it, and then you're gonna go on a different path. So never ever treat your past to be a negative. I would say, uh, kind of a bad past. Because we're gonna treat them, we're gonna treat all these events to be the successful stepping stones that to which where we are now. The eighth suggestion, not to be hard on us, is never ever underestimate your talents until you apply them at least 100 times. Right? We all have talents. We are bornly talented for different things, and then there are other talents we are creating during our lifetime. For example, somebody may be good at something, you know, generation wise. On the other hand, somebody can develop some of the skills just because of his or her environment, probably school and all those places. So if this is the truth, I mean, we are talented in two multiple ways, then we should never underestimate our talents. We have to go ahead with our talents. We should never underestimate, because it doesn't mean that we have to overestimate us. We have to be overconfident about us. I'm trying to tell you that give validation to yourself. A lot of people, they don't give validation to them. They're expecting other people to validate them. This is the cause of many problems. And they want attention, they want many things from other people. But if you validate yourself, that's enough. In the first place, other people will do when they want, if they need. We don't care about it. But we are trying to validate us so that we are not underestimating our talents, our skills, right? That's the eighth step where you're going to practice in not being hard on us, where you're going to be smarter on you for your any venture, any initiative. The ninth suggestion for you not to be hard on yourself is that how you tackle the problems in your life. Because when you come up with a problem, encounter a problem, you have to understand that you have so many ways to manage the particular issue problem. Never ever think that you are going to be bogged down by this particular, you're going to be taken down by this particular issue, because you have to understand you are much stronger than the problems, issues. You have the energy, you have the energy line. But if you are not thinking enough that you are stronger, you are capable, you are skillful, then the problems will take you over. Problems take your power, energy, right? So we had to look at that our perspective in handling, in managing problems, issues are more important than any question that can come to us in our life. So believe in you, trust in your energy. That's the ninth strength, ninth suggestion for you to practice not being hard on yourself. And positivity. Now, out of all these, I think we all had this positive line, positive element in all these suggestions. So we had to understand that positivity is very important. So now, in uh, Buddhist teachings, we all understand that the Buddha always encouraged us to have a positive attitude towards any phenomena. Now, if you look at how he handled difficult people, he was always trying to be smart and then having a positive attitude and asking people to be uh, positive in handling any situation. For example, when the heretics killed a woman who they asked her to go to the temple, and then they killed her, and then they buried her body under a pond, lake, uh, in front of the beautiful temple, Jetavana. And then the people started blaming the Buddha. And then some monks asked Buddha actually to move into another city. And the Buddha said, no, we don't need to. And he was very positive. That is how he managed the situation. So, have we learned out of these practices, out of these beautiful ways of handling difficult situations? We don't study. We just study his teachings only. That is the problem. We have to look at how he handled his situations, right? His life situations. He said, what happens if we move and then the same problem arises in that city too? It was very positive. He said, don't worry. These people will stop their blames in a week. He knows. Just wait for a week. This is a waiting game, right? So he was actually managing, keeping his, I would say, positive attitude, no matter what, regardless of what. So staying positive is very important for you to practice uh, this smartness, this happiness in your life, not being hard on you. That's number 10. Number 11 is, our negative emotions, especially this anger. We have anger to different emotions. Now, anger is an emotion that can arise for different reasons. Now, in Abhidhamma, we say anger is a part of akusala chetasikas. Now, akusala chetasikas have different groups. Now, we can see dosa, hatred, and then kukucha, that means worry, and issa, that means jealousy, and uh, I would say Macharya, stinginess. So these four work in one way. That means dosa can arise, and I would say avarice or stinginess can arise. Um, then worry can arise, right? So all these can arise differently. So anger is related to all these situation. Let's say you are stingy because you don't like other people to experience what you have. So there is anger towards that stinginess. You are jealous because you don't like other people for what they have. Anger towards that. Then you are angry just for nothing sometimes, right? Just because you are angry, you want things to be the way you want, right? So what I suggest is that when you have anger, try to be creative. Try to understand who you are and your particular emotion, and try to be creative. I'm not saying that you have ways to be creative, but I mean, try to stop that anger, uh, uprising in a way that can, give you a hard time, big time, rather than letting it take you over. Try to be creative and try to take it over. Try to take your anger, right? So that's a very wonderful step for you not to be hardened. Now, when you are angry, what happens is that you are giving so much, you are giving so much, I would say, hardness to you. You are not easy. You are not comfortable. You have heavy breathing. You have sweating. You can cough, right? Uh, you have a lot of complaints. Why you feel this kind of a hard time? You should not give hard time to us. Just because you want to see a certain thing, a certain way in others, why you want to be very hard on it, right? So this is another suggestion. Try to be creative in your negativity. When you are at least trying to take control over such negativity so that you are not trying to be hard on you. The last one is the good company. Wise friends. Surround yourself with people who want you to succeed. I mean, this is very important. Now, in Buddhism, we learn that Kalyana Mitras, good friends, are a necessary ground for us to grow. You may have party friends, you may have friends who just want to come and then just, babble and, stop nonsense and, gossip, idle chatting friends. But in Buddhism, not even that you want to attain Nibbana, but only if you want to grow as a good person. Buddha said that the first thing you have to start, even before you listen to Dhamma talks and whatever other topics, you have to find Kalyana, good friends, wise friends. Now, good friends are not those who just simply give you money, lend you money. Right? They are the people who will give you something. They are the people who can really advance you for the bad. Right? So when you are surrounded with such folks, they never take you to the bad path. They never take you to deviate from the right path, wholesome, holistic path. Be with such people. Our first attempt in Buddhism is to be with such Kalyana. This is what Buddha said in Mandala. Asevana Bala. Never ever have a company with bad folks. Papa Mitas, bad friends, right? Panditanancha Sevana. Try to be in the company with wise friends. Kalyana Mitas. Kalyana Mitas are always encouraging us to look for the good things, practice the good things. They are expecting us to be holistic, wholesome. They are asking us to practice skillful activities, 10 kusalas. At the same time, they are practicing skillful activities. So we can be influenced with their activities, their practice. All right. So today you've been learning how not to be hard on you with 12 practices. Let me recap these 12 practices. Number one is that mistakes are normal, blunders, mistakes, failures are normal. Try to keep them as, consider them as teaching moments. So you can take you to the next level. Number two, never ever compare unless you want to compare yourself to somebody who you want to be happier in a spiritual way, in a better way, in a holistic way. Don't try to compare you to a material person. That's the biggest loophole that many have. Number three, there's no one way to be right. There are many ways. So find out your own right way, comfortable way to be good. Number four, be yourself. Stand up for what you believe. You might not be accepted in the first place. All these influential folks are like that. They were not accepted in the first place, but then people get to accept that those people more than the other folks actually. Number five, learn from the criticism. Number six, accept your weaknesses as your own characteristics, I've said temperaments, uh, right? Not as something that you frown upon. Number seven, take your past as an adventurous biography or a storyline. It's not wrong, bad. They were just choices you made, and you learn out of them. Number seven. Number eight, never ever underestimate you or overestimate you, right? Try to believe in your talents, skills that were you were born with, and also believe in what you have been cultivating, developing. Number nine, every single problem uh, that you are having is not unique. So uh, you have to actually put your problems in perspective, solve them faster in your own way, right? You have to find out how you can critical think about your problems, your issues that you are facing in your life, right? So you are self-sufficient. Not you don't need to be hard on that too. And staying positive, that's number 10. And try to manage your negativities way uh, uh, advanced and surround with the Kalyana Mitras, good friends. So these are the 12 steps by which you're gonna not be hard on you. You're gonna be very comfortable because nobody deserves to be hard on them. Everybody deserves to be very comfortable, right? They should all have the freedom from being hard. That's why I ask you to be smart. Be smarter, wiser, be more skilled, but do not give time on you to be hard, to be so rigorous about anything spiritual and other things. So that's our talk today, and I hope that you learn a lot. Um, so, any questions for me today? You can type any questions for our topic today. Do not be hard on yourself. I'll take 1 minute for that. Okay, I see no I can see there are no problems here, no questions. So let me transfer good karmas to departed folks and the deities. May all the good karmas we've been accumulating in all these ways be transferred to all the departed relatives who passed away in the name of all of us. May the departed people be able to receive all these good karmas. If they are in a bad state of life, may they be able to transition into a good place. If they are in a better place, may they be able to uh, improve their standards, qualities, life, and then finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idammi nyati nang hotu sukita huntu nyatayo Idam me nyati nang hutu sukita huntu nyatayo. Idam me nyati nang hutu sukita huntu nyatayo. Let's share all the good karmas with the devas, nagas, and powerful beings. May all the devas, nagas, and the powerful beings receive all these good karmas. May they bless all of you for good health, quality of your life, and all the prosperities. We are still in the first month of the new year 2022. May you all be protected, blessed by the deities for all the good things that you have, especially for your good health and for all your plans. May the devas also attain supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha ammehi sambhatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabbe satta anumodantu sabbasang patti siddhya akasattha chibumattha deva naga mahintika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkhantu lokasasanam chirang rakkhantu desanam chirang rakkhantu mang paranti. Finally, let's make our great wish. May all the good karmas we've been accumulating in all these ways be helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. I'm going to be blessing you with a couple more stanzas. Please receive the blessings. Abhivadana Siris Nichang Vadha Pachainu Chataru Dhamma Vadhanti Ayuvanu Sukhang Balang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Iminati Saminchatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now, folks, we have two interviews coming up. One interview is going to be on socially engaged Buddhism in contemporary South Korea with a scholar from South Korea. And the other interview is going to be with a professor from Sri Lanka on the translation issues of Buddhist text. I hope that these two interviews will be wonderful. We'll be announcing you the particular details next couple of days. Have a good night. Have a good day. Take care. Be safe.